What up, y'all? Nick here again, coming live from the inside of my closet for another closet review. And yes, that's what I'm calling them. This week, we're taking a look at episode 3 of Attack on Titan season 4. So, of course, if you haven't seen it, try to check it out wherever you can, because there will be spoilers aplenty. With that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So, episode 3 of Attack on Titan is a Reiner episode. It is entirely his story. If not the whole thing, then just everything but the little, last 7% of the episode. So in this episode, we get a lot bit more backstory about Reiner and where he came from, as far as his history of being a warrior, as far as what motivates him, why he's there, why he infiltrated Paradise Island as a kid. The only thing that I knew going into this episode, because I'm trying to stay away from spoilers as much as I can, trying to stay away from conversations with friends of mine who have read the manga. But the only thing I knew going into this episode was that the director of season 4 of the anime went on to Twitter to say that episode 3 of season 4 of Attack on Titan will make you love Reiner by the end of it. So going into it, I knew it was going to be more of a Reiner vehicle this time around, but I did not know what exactly would make us love him. And then the flashback started, and we got to know who he was a little bit more. So Reiner, his dad was Marleyan, and his mom is Eldian. That's why he's able to turn into a Titan. Anyone who has Eldian blood has the capacity to become a Titan. And he enlisted in the Marleyan army to be an honorary Marleyan in order to essentially make him and his mom citizens again, and to meet his dad. So we get a little bit in the beginning of him being bullied by the Jaw Titan guy. I'm really bad at this. We get a little bit of him being bullied, and we find out that at this point in Reiner's life, as a member of this squad who are training to take the power of the Titan, much like Gabby and Falco are in the present day, we learn who the candidates are and what powers are going to be bestowed upon them. So in this little squad, of course, we know that Berthold is the candidate for the Colossal Titan. We learn that Marcel, who is Galliard's brother, Porco Galliard's brother, he is the candidate for the Jaw Titan. We learn that Annie is the candidate for the Female Titan, of course. And then we learn that Reiner is the candidate for the Armor Titan. Now, he gets bullied throughout the episode by Porco, saying, you're the worst of us, you're never gonna get a Titan power, you'll never be a candidate. Turns out he gets nominated, he becomes a candidate, and we learn that it was actually Marcel, the older brother, who hyped Reiner up to gain this Titan power. Really, because he was just looking out for his little brother. He didn't want his brother to die. So at this realization, Reiner is apologized to by Marcel, and he starts to wonder, why is Marcel apologizing to me? What does this mean? Am I not good enough? He starts to doubt himself a little bit. Then Ymir's Titan comes around. That's when Marcel gets eaten. I think that moment deepened Porco's resentment towards Reiner even more, because his brother ended up dying. And Reiner, Annie, and Berthold run away. They run as fast as they can. Reiner is the quickest one, because again, he's probably the one most outwardly scared at this point of the Titans, of being this candidate, of having this power. Annie beats the ever-loving crap out of him, because Annie is a cold character. She is a calculated character, and she now knows that this kind of messes up their plans a little bit. So seeing the cowardice in Reiner, she kicks the crap out of him, and Berthold is just sitting in the corner asking him to stop, because of course you don't want to see your best friends kill each other. And that's where Reiner sort of snaps, is right there. He fights back against Annie. He's like, Reiner is dead. If you need me to be Marcel, I'll be Marcel. I'm going to do whatever I can to get back to our hometown with some sort of result. And then we sort of go through the Titan trio's first encounters with the Paradise Island crew. Eren and Reiner have a really sweet moment where during training with the 3D gear, Eren isn't necessarily getting the hang of it, and he's on the ground on his hands and knees, and he starts asking Reiner, how do I be like you? How do I be like you and Mikasa? I don't know how to do it. And so Reiner sees a little bit of himself in there, a little bit of himself when he was getting bullied, a little bit of himself when he started having doubts about himself, and he starts to form a bond with Eren in this moment. He's like, listen, I know you can do it. You can, your goal is to kill all the Titans, right? Like, you're going to do it someday. And he helps him up. And in that moment, after the past couple episodes that we've seen and the vulnerability that we've seen from Reiner, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to his character that he does feel a connection with these people that are out there to kill him. So that was a really nice moment. We also get a moment where Annie stumbles into Kenny. She meets him in the sewers, I think she described it. Apparently, Annie claims that Kenny is her father, which is crazy. Kenny denies it, of course, and he says he made a promise to his sister. I'm assuming his sister is Mikasa's mom. I'm still not entirely sure. Maybe we'll get more Ackerman backstory later in the series. And then we flash forward to the present. Reiner has a gun in his mouth, which, after getting his backstory, after learning how he feels and seeing how he's been treated and where he comes from, it makes a little bit more sense than if you were to see that without that context. And suddenly Falco slams on the wall behind him in frustration, causing Reiner to take the gun out of his mouth and realize, even if I am in this spot, even if I want to end my life, even in this headspace, I still have those guys. I still have Falco and Gabby. I have this crew of youngins with potential, much like I was, much like we were, except we can turn this around. He doesn't say all of that out loud, but that's sort of what I get from that. And in such a way, the way that the episode is cut, the editing in those couple of sequences, like the Reiner and the Eren sequence to the Reiner and Falco sequence, transitions perfectly into Falco meeting another older gentleman from the last episode on a bench outside of what looks to be some sort of wellness center or hospital for vets, and they start to talk. So when the conversation first starts, we learn the old man that's sitting next to Falco, he pretends to have amnesia at this place where people get treated for PTSD. He pretends to also have PTSD because he just doesn't want to go home. He can't face his family, according to him. And he looks at Falco and he asks him about his wounds, and he's like, is that from warrior training? I'm assuming that everyone in the Marley and in this town is aware of warrior training. It's not like some top secret. Falco's like, yeah, but I don't think I'm gonna get it. I don't think I'm gonna get the armor titan. I'm not good enough. There's someone else who's way better at everything than me who's gonna get it. So the old man starts to ask about this other person who he says he doesn't want to get the power, though. Falco's like, I don't want this person to get the power, and he starts to blush a little bit. Eren can kind of pick up on that, and he's like, is this person a girl? And then Falco starts to describe Gabby, who he's talking about, this famous person known for her efforts in the war, and she's famous around town. Then after Falco once again reaffirms that, listen, I'm not the one who's going to get this power, but I don't want her to get it either, the old man sitting next to him is like, well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You're a good person. Listen. And then he starts to go on about how if normal people were to see how war affects those who go into it, the soldiers that fight, no one would ever want to go to war. No one would want war in the first place. For a lot of people, it's not their choice to go to war. It's not their choice to enlist. Sometimes it's a forced decision placed on them by others. Sometimes it is another aspect of their life that causes them to feel obligated to go to war. But then he mentions a third kind of person, someone who goes to war because they see something past it. They see something past the war that encourages them and drives them to get through the hell that they're going through, which sounds a lot like some main character that we know. And he mentions the people who go through hell to get to the other side never know what's on the other side. They don't know if it's another hell. They don't know if it's heaven. They don't know if it's something better. But the only people that do know are the ones that keep moving. And that is when we see the old man's eyes for the first time. Well, the old man's eye, the one of them, for the very first time. And as he looks up, we realize the old man is Eren. He's been Eren this whole time. He was Eren in the second episode. He was in the line. And knowing that Jean was in the first episode of Attack on Titan at the very end, I'm convinced that at least half of the squad are already here in Marley. Like, they have already infiltrated the mainland, which raises not only so many questions, but it makes me so excited for what's to come. On top of that, another thing that makes me really excited for what's to come is the animation style and the character design. I wanted to mention this earlier, But here's the thing. Going into season 4, I was most worried about the character design. I was most worried based on the trailers how everyone looked so different without realizing there was a time jump. In the first episode, when you learn that there's a time jump, in my head it kind of clicked. I was like, okay, people look different because it's like 4 years later. But I was still a little worried that I wouldn't be able to get used to these character models or the way that these characters look until we get to episode 3 and we see actual flashbacks of characters as we knew them before. Not only do the character designs look great and consistent, but there's just something about the character design and the Titan design that Mappa is going for that just works so well, and it works so well in conjunction with seasons 1 through 3. Season 4, episode 3 of Attack on Titan isn't necessarily the most action-packed episode, but it is the episode that single-handedly convinced me that Mappa is going to do a great job with the rest of the season, and we have a lot to look forward to. So, with that being said, I hope I didn't miss anything. I kind of went on. It didn't feel like I was talking for this long. Obviously, I was. Despite that fact, if I missed anything, be sure to let me know. Be sure to let me know what you thought about the episode in the comment section below. Otherwise, stay safe, keep it real. I will see you next week for a review of episode 4. But until then, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the next one.